This is a dramatic reading for the Accidentally Made Content podcast. I'm Jeff, and here we go. Mike Rowe's Dirty Job Mining in Moria. When the dwarves of Moria invited me to see what a real mine looked like, I figured, why not? I've been some gnarly places before: sewers, garbage dumps, grease pits. But this was different. This wasn't just mining, this was legendary mining. I arrived at the west gate of Moria before dawn, my boots crunching on the cold stone path. The entrance loomed before me. A massive, room-covered door sealed tighter than an old jar of pickles. I had heard stories about the place, mostly bad ones, though Duran's folk assured me that the lower levels were still in operation, and that I'd be perfectly safe. Naturally, this was the first lie I was told that day. "Welcome, Mike Rowe," said Bolland, my white-bearded guide. "I trust you're ready for our day's work." "Sure," I said. "But just so we're clear, this mine isn't, abandoned and full of monsters, right?" Balin waved dismissively. "Bah, old tales. We work in deeper veins, perfectly safe. The worst thing you'll face is a little dust." This was the second lie. We descended into the mountain via an impossible deep stone staircase that I'm convinced was designed solely to weed out the uncoordinated dwarves. My human legs weren't built for this kind of punishment. And I was starting to regret that second helping of Lembas before lunch. The first thing I noticed was about Moria's mines was that they were loud, and not just from the pickaxe striking rock. Massive forges roared, carts rumbled along tracks, and dwarves bellowed orders over the clamor. It smelled like iron, sweat, and just a hint of despair. The classic ingredients of a proper dirty job. My first task was sorting ore. Simple enough, right? Just pick out the good stuff, toss the rest. Except the dwarves are very particular about their ore. "Not that one," grunted a burly miner named Fundin. I held up a fist-sized rock. "Why not? It looks like good silver." "It's got a bad attitude." "A bad attitude?" He nodded sagely. "See that line? It's sulky. Won't melt properly." Now, I don't usually argue with professionals, so I tossed the rock into the reject pile, where it landed with a thunk among the other emotionally compromised minerals. After an hour of that, it was time to dig. Now I'm stronger, no stranger to physical labor, but dwarves live for this. They handed me a pickaxe that weighed about as much as a small horse and expected me to swing it like I wasn't already sweating from walking down the stairs. I took my first swing. The pick glanced off a rock and vibrated so hard my arms went numb. Balin chuckled. "Don't worry, lad. It takes a few centuries to get the technique right." I wasn't about to quit back when the mine suddenly went silent. Every dwarf stopped working. Even the forges seemed to dim. Uh, is this normal?" I whispered. Balin's face had gone pale. "Did you hear that?" I didn't hear anything, which I realized was the problem. The mines of Moria were never silent. Then from the deep within the tunnel came a distant sound, rhythmic, echoing thud. Hundin cursed under his breath. "We delved too greedily again, didn't we?" Now, I don't claim to be a Middle-earth historian, but I knew enough to recognize a bad situation when I was in one. "Okay," I said. "Let's go ahead and define exactly what we're talking about here. Gas leak? cave in, or the thing I really, really don't want it to be. No one answered. Then the thud came again, closer this time. I dropped my pickaxe. Yeah, I'm done. This job's above my pay grade. Balin grabbed my arm. Come quickly. We ran. They ran. I awkwardly stumbled down the side tunnel just as the portion of the ceiling collapsed behind us. There was a roar, not of stone, but of something far worse. A firelight flickered in the distance. Right, I panted. That's a Balrog, isn't it? Balin gave me a grim nod. Great, just great. See, this is why I stick to sewers. We sprinted towards a minecart track. Fundin shoved me into a cart, hopped in after me, and kicked the brake loose. The cart shot forward, gaining speed as we hurtled through the tunnels. Behind us, the Balrog's glow grew brighter. Ever done this before? I shouted over the wind. Once, Fundin yelled back. Did you survive? Still deciding. We rocketed toward the exit, barely avoiding a deadly drop into chasms behind us. The Balrog let a frustrated roar out. Apparently, a several thousand-pound demon of fire and shadow does not fit in a minecart. We burst out of the west gate at full speed, the cart launching off the tracks and sending me tumbling onto the ground. I lay there for a while, gasping for air. Eventually, Balin helped me up. Well, he said, dusting himself off, that was exciting. Exciting, I repeated. Right. Let's go with that. So, Balin asked, you think you'll ever come back for another shift? I stared at him, then at the smoking entrance of Moria, then back at him. Balin said, I would rather swim through raw sewage. And with that, I crossed mining in Moria off my bucket list permanently.